All the best on Saturday, St Johnstone. One final push from
Logan and Cameron, Sarah,
and Neil Murdoch in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Come on, you Saints!
This is Jim in Carlops in the sunny Scottish borders. Come on, you Saints. Make it a cup double this Saturday. We're so proud of you.
I'd like to wish St Johnstone all the best in the Cup on Saturday. Come on, Saints, bring the Cup back to Perth.
Alright boys, this is Jimmy Hour down in Tasmania. I'll be cheering on Saints from my living room, some cans of Tennent's and a steak pie, my dad and my brother on video chat. Love your work. Come on the Saints!
Callum Davidson will always be our manager of the year. Good luck, Saints.
Hi, I'm Emmy Heller from Jeanfield in Perth, and what I want to say to Saints is pump it up.
all the best for Saturday, Saints. Good luck.
We are here. We're knackered, but it's almost time. It's episode 18, the Scottish Cup Final Part 2 of Dogger Saints and Unofficial St Johnstone Podcast. We chat to Craig Bryson about Coffee Club and if Elliot Parish is actually a big massive liar. Media royalty Stuart Cosgrove joins us to discuss his cup final streak and the unreal season Saints are having, plus a whole world of cup final shenanigans. All this and a whole lot more.
The Saints are coming. The Saints are coming. I say no matter how I try, we'll always know it. The Saints are coming. I say no matter how I try,
Welcome to the party, folks. There is room for everyone. It's episode 18, the Scottish Cup Final Special, Part 2, and I am joined by, this is where I insert a funny joke about something wacky that Dan's done. Here he is, Stanley Williams.
How we doing?
Oh,
you well?
I am very...
It's been a while, pal. you know something, mate. I didn't even let you answer if you were well there, but I'm going to carry on because I'm in that type of mood. Yes. There was a good Paramore song called Part 2.
I noticed when I was decorating your house last week, you've got like these speakers in your wall, and I found, is it connected to the CD player that's hidden in your like wee cupboard, downstairs cupboard?
Yeah.
Do you see what CD's in that?
It's Paramore's debut album, isn't it?
It is Paramore, yeah. I'm thinking, are you bringing a nice lady home to the house and thinking, I know what, not Luther Vandross or Marvin Gaye or something a bit sexual. Stick on a bit of emo pish.
Hey, I like my Luther. I like my Marvin. I like all the crazy Motown gang. I also like a bit of Paramore from time to time. Sue me. What are you going to do about it, you prick?
Whoa! This is
Sorry, I got carried away.
This is a Scottish Cup party we are having today. Anyway, let's get the party started. Hold on. Oh, fucked it. Oh, there it is. That
did not have the desired effect.
It did not. I'll have to open another one after this. But we've got a
Why not?
packed show. We usually have one guest a week, and even then we're usually knackered by the end of the week to do another podcast. This week we've had 5 guests interviewed since Monday.
It's been, I think I said on Twitter before, it's been graft, but it's been so much fun, and we're so lucky. And we realise how lucky we are to be doing this every week, but this week we've had some fantastic guests, and we've got 2 more for you. Absolutely. What a privilege it's been.
It's been great. It's been good. Well, we've got Stuart Cosgrove on first, who is great for us being an absolute media professional. We could just ask a couple of questions and sit back and let him take over. I'd let him stand in for you, Dan. I would.
Oh, I mean, what an honour for the man.
And then we've got Craig Bryson, who, let's be honest, he threw absolutely every single member of his team under the bus.
Nobody was safe. Nobody was safe, particularly not our pal El Paz. And on that note, Sam.
Go on.
What's the hashtag?
Hashtag announce parish. It's our latest campaign. He said he's got a deal. It's never been announced. Get it announced. Hashtag announce parish.
And we'll have more about that with Craig later in the show.
We will discuss it after the interview. But more news this week. We played Skyfoss's song Down to the Wire, which has had a cracking reception. And it's only gone and been bloody made the official song for St Johnstone for the Scottish Cup Final. If you thought we weren't going to be playing that song again, you are sadly mistaken, my friends. Sadly mistaken. So, brilliant news. Great news.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so delighted for Jason and you. And it's something you can get behind as well. It's something to get you going. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people out there that'll have it blaring out, sort of 1:45 on Saturday afternoon.
But not any time before that, though, because you might miss me.
Yeah, you've gone all Charlie Big Spuds on me here, haven't you, mate?
Well, when the BBC come calling you, you have to answer that one.
Oh, you do. You can't let that one go to answer phone. Well, maybe you could, and then you can ring them back. I don't know, but why don't you tell the people what you were doing, Sam?
Well, if you're watching the coverage on Saturday on the BBC, I am part of a little compilation video. I was down at the Cherry Bank today doing interviews, and obviously I had on my teal magenta top for it. But I got sent a photo from the woman, the producer that was doing the interview, and the camera adds £10 is not a lie. It's not just a made-up statement.
How many cameras were on you?
Hey. But no, if you are watching the BBC coverage, keep an eye out for your second favourite St Johnstone podcast host. Obviously, Dan's the favourite.
Oh, thanks. I tell you what, you had no need to be that nice to me, because we've been going about 5 minutes. I've called you a prick and called you fat.
My wife and kids call me much worse on a daily basis. But let's move on. More news. I had a delivery through the post when I got home today, Dan.
Why don't you tell me about it, Sam?
Well, it's big.
Ho, 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 ho.
It's hard.
Ho, 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 ho.
And it's purple and green.
Oh, sex tips with Shelley Kerr's taking a dark turn in this episode, hasn't it?
The new Dogger Saints Player of the Year trophy has arrived, and also so has the teal and magenta accompanying ribbons. What a treat.
It is an absolutely tremendous bit of kit. And so it's officially called the Fred McKercher Memorial Trophy after our dear friend Fred, and it will be nicknamed the Ballon Dog.
That's good.
With a little apostrophe in the middle. I need to give, because he's been moaning on at me, because I need to give my best friend, in general oddity, Tukes also a bit of partial credit here. So he's moaning on at me that I called Bowen, who corrected us, my best friend. There's always been the three of us, and then I called it you. It's my actual best friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, Tukes, my oldest mate, and he... I was on the phone to him the other day after he was berating me for this, and he said it's like the Ballon d'Or, and then that got changed into the Ballon Dog. So I hope you're happy now also, you big weird Edinburgh freak.
Yeah, there you are. Hope he's happy. But the Ballon d'Or is a fine looking bit of kit. We'll get the photos up ASAP. I'm not going to take it down to the pub on Saturday because it'll get absolutely trashed, I'd imagine, get swung around the place. It'll be, what a disaster that'll be. But it's a nice big trophy. What's going to happen is we're doing an episode on Monday after the cup final, regardless of the result. And the following Saturday, we're doing our Player of the Year awards plus the moment of the season countdown. So we'll do them a little bit change from normal, but that's what we'll be doing. And then we're going to take a wee bit of time off, Dan.
Yeah, we are going to take a bit of time off, Sam. This is, as I keep saying, this is just such a thrill doing this. It's so much fun and we're so lucky. But yeah, with no Saints to talk about, yeah, we'll have a little break and we'll refresh ourselves.
Do you know what we could talk about?
International football.
Absolutely not. We could talk about our friends at Flonix Limited, who are once again sponsoring the podcast this week. Flonix!
Hey!
Nice.
Now, once as ever, a huge thanks to Dan and the gang at Flonix for supporting us and sponsoring this episode.
And if you haven't checked them out yet, the first question is why not? The second point is go to flonix.co.uk. Flonix offers flexible IT support, professional IT project delivery, and you'll know by now, expert IT advice.
Well, that's all well and good, but they support the Doggers with pride. That's the main duty. I even wrote a song about it.
You did, and that is the lyrics. They do support the Doggers with pride. Oi, oi. Lovely. But thanks again to Daniel and the team at Flonix for really getting behind the podcast and supporting us. It's not gone unnoticed and it's really, really, really appreciated. But in a different type of episode, we usually jam-packed with crazy features. We've got a couple. Don't worry, we've got a couple. But I think we should get to our first interview.
I can't see why not, Sam. I'm very excited for the people out there to hear this.
So, when you're not listening to Dogger Saints podcast, you're probably listening to Off the Ball on a Saturday, because everybody does.
Well, absolutely.
And as you well know, one half of them is a massive St Johnstone fan.
Sam Cowan.
I bet he is secretly. Everyone's a St Johnstone fan now. Speak to anybody. The glory hunters everywhere. That's what they all turn into be. Glory hunters. But here is a man that needs very little introduction to St Johnstone supporters up and down the country. It's one and only Stuart Cosgrove. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Very good indeed. Sam, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and indeed clear, yes.
Brilliant, good. And it's enough quality for you to record off, yeah?
We can work with this. This is absolutely perfect. Yep, grand. How you getting on anyway? You okay?
Aye, fantastic.
Good.
Raring to go.
I know, it's some week. Let's dive straight in, Stuart. Is the Scottish Cup final on Saturday the biggest match in St Johnstone history?
It's certainly one of the biggest matches, that's for sure. I think an awful lot of people of an older generation saw that when we travelled through to Glasgow in the Willie Ormond era, we were a fantastic team. We were up against the Lisbon Lions, effectively the top Celtic team of the era. Mm-hmm. And it was a very big ask for St Johnstone. We went there as rank outsiders. We were beaten 1-0. And then I think for some fans, a kind of mood set in. We went down in the divisions. We were down there for a while. Eventually we regrouped. We were a bit of a yo-yo team for a while. And I think the idea that we'd be cup finalists started to fade away in the minds of a lot of fans. The idea that we would be in so many cup finals consecutively is utter dreamland. And, I think really there's a side of me that looks up there and thinks, my God, over the last few years, somebody somewhere has decided they're a Saints man. God, we love you.
Yeah, you're not half wrong. It'll probably be one of these things where we'll just sit back at the end of the season when it's all done and dusted and just reflect on how ludicrous this season has been. It's a very St Johnstone thing, though, that we've none of us have managed to get to a game. However, you were at the League Cup final. How was that for you?
Well, do you know what? A fantastic day. I managed to get in there on the back of being a guest with Saints TV and just simply, seeing the guys come out. It's been an odd thing this year because I've seen every single ball we've kicked throughout the entire season. Yep. Whether we're on, pay-per-view or not. I mean, one of the odd things about doing off the ball is that there's a kind of engineering room that brings all the games in, whether they're coming in for Alba or whether they're coming in for sports scene edited highlights. And so every single game comes in, and I sometimes sit there in this wee box room on my own watching Saints, maybe say at home to St Mirren, and all the rest of them are all watching kind of Rangers or Celtic or what they would consider to be a big team, and I'm in there on my own. But it means that I've watched every single game this season and really, really, really seen some phenomenal performances. I was one of the ones that wasn't as worried because of the early results, because I was seeing so much of the team and was actually aware that they were playing really, really well.
Yep.
And I know you shouldn't be saying around Christmas, we are too good to go down. That's what Hibs fans said when they went down. But I just didn't think for any length of time that we were seriously in trouble. And then as soon as the gears changed and the system became, a settled system that people understood, I think the team just kind of moved from there. It was fantastic. So a brilliant, brilliant season it's been.
Indeed. Dan?
Yeah, Stuart, you actually touched upon it there, but what do you think the big sort of turning point was? Because for me, the performances haven't really gone massively up or dipped or whatever through the season. They've always played some quite good football. Do you think it was just settling into the system, getting used, because it was a new system, settling into that and maybe a few individual errors being eradicated?
Yeah, I think it's that, Dan. And I think also if you kind of look at the central back three, with Liam, Jamie and Jason Kerr, these are young guys and I think they've had a phenomenal season. And as they got stronger, so the team's got stronger, and we've had a real base to build on. And, we've not conceded that many goals. I would think in the latter part of the season, we've all but eliminated the old kind of bad errors of the Tommy Wright era. There was a tendency in Tommy's eras for us to lose a goal in 20 minutes at home and then have to chase the game. Whereas I think Callum's beginning to eliminate that. I mean, our last game against Livingston, which is probably one of the most boring games in the history of Scottish football, we didn't concede. And the one moment where we looked like we were going to concede, who would have ever written it? Bobby Zlamal came to our rescue.
I know. He's a footballing character, certainly, and makes things a bit more entertaining, if nothing else. But touching on two points you made earlier, talking about watching Saints while everyone was watching Rangers and Celtic, we had Jo Wilson from Sky Sports News on earlier on in the season, and she said the same thing. When everybody else would be watching Man United and Chelsea and things like that, she'd be in a wee corner watching Saints at Pittodrie and going, what's going on here? And your other point I want to touch on is, seeing all the games, you've seen Saints kick every ball. Me and Dan have talked about this. This is the first season. Like, it's not always possible to get up to Ross County on a Tuesday night for a 7:30 kickoff and that. So even watching Peterhead and the Cup, it's just been amazing that everybody's been able to watch every game home and away. Fortunately, that's probably the one benefit of this whole system is we have been able to watch all, but obviously not in the great circumstances, certainly.
Yeah, I never imagined I would give Peterhead FC my credit card details, but I went onto their pay-per-view offering that for that game. And you know what was kind of interesting about it? What I actually liked about it, I liked that we comfortably won the game. I actually liked that I was watching it through the prism of their fans commentating for their own TV station. I think that's been one of the revelations of this season, that we're actually seeing the rise of kind of fan broadcasting in ways that didn't exist before. I mean, even just this podcast and others, it just feels as if that Scottish football clubs have found a new level of media that works for the smaller clubs, because, you know, we're never going to be big in the minds of Sky TV or even BBC Scotland. And they'll probably this Saturday, they're doing lots of different things. I know that I've already helped them with a few things. I did an interview earlier on, and I've written a love letter to David Witherspoon that will go out as a movie in the run up to the kickoff of the game. But they're interested in us because we're in the final. If we were playing a league game at Pittodrie, we wouldn't matter to them in the same way that other teams would. So I think that this generation of broadcasters that you brought on, Sam, and that, you know, Saints TV has brought forward, it's really quite important historically for the club. We had a period, I would have said, around the kind of Wendy Who, Blue Heaven era, where Saints were quite active in the fanzine world. Yep. But now that's moved now into kind of fan-based broadcasting. It's a great development in media. I love it.
It's a good medium. We're having great fun doing it, and long may it continue, certainly.
It's the best fun in the world.
It is so much great because we're just a couple of normal guys. We're lucky enough to have the equipment anyway in the house. As one half of a Scottish football duo yourself, not saying we're anywhere near the same bracket, have you ever had to deal with anybody who's just like...
You're bitter for a start.
Have you ever had... We have guests on every week on Off the Ball, certainly, but have you ever had anybody who's on and going, oh, this guy's a total pillock? How do you deal with these kind of guys? Give us advice.
Yeah, I actually found... do you remember the Hamilton and Aberdeen goalkeeper, Thomas Cherney?
Yep, I do.
Yep.
Cherney, he was an absolute fucking dick of a guy. I mean, unbelievable. He came into the studio and you feel like saying, Thomas, do you actually even get this show? We started talking. I'd been at a Saints Hamilton game, and he had this technique of when Hamilton took the lead, and maybe 15, 20 minutes into the game, I can't remember the detail now, but he started wasting time from that early in the game, and he was kind of faking hamstring tears and a calf problem, and he kept jumping from one leg to the other. He wasn't even consistent with the fake. And there was a side of me that he'd done this also against Motherwell. So Tam and I started telling jokes about, sorry that he came into the studio and we said, look, sorry that the desk's a bit low there, Thomas, just be careful with your hamstring and everything like that. And he just wasn't wearing it. And he got more and more angry. And at one point he was across the studio wanting to have a go at Tam and everything. So he'd probably be the one. I think he's actually training now. I probably shouldn't have called him a dick. I think he's training to be a PE teacher somewhere, maybe up in Aberdeen or something like that. So, Thomas, if you're listening, God love you.
Is that the same Thomas Cherney that absolutely smashed David McMillan to bits and put him out for for a good long
Yeah,
time.
bang on, the same guy. Yeah, the same guy. Yeah. You know, I was talking when you were talking earlier about the season. If I had a worry, and it sometimes, you know, sometimes when you go on the forums, I used to be very active on We Are Perth, but I've kind of just, I'm a lurker now. And on the Pine Bovril Saints forum, I'm a lurker there as well. But you know what? The one bit where I slightly had a little wobble was when McNamara was called back by Millwall.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, do you know what? He's a stick on maybe for Player of the Year. He's looking good. He's fit. He's talented. He gives us a bit of energy on the right side of the park. I thought we were stronger on the right. And he goes, and suddenly Sean Rooney comes into play.
Out of
and
nowhere.
then there's this revelation, this character that is kind of like unbelievable and a force of nature, the like of which I've never witnessed in a St Johnstone jersey. So what I thought was a weakness became a strength.
And indeed, he just doesn't seem to fit the kind of mould of any other St Johnstone player in that squad, or a type of player that would suit Callum Davidson, who's kind of a nice, calm, cool demeanour of a character. And then you've got Sean Rooney, who turns up to training in an Arsenal kit and a massive boombox and stuff. It just doesn't seem to kind of fit the
He's
script.
the polar opposite of Danny Mack as well, who was, you know, you look at Danny, he was well presented. He had that, I call it London boy hair, you know, the slick back, and always looked really tidy, always, by all accounts, I never met him, but a really polite, lovely lad. Not saying Sean isn't, but he just looks
unhinged.
Just looks wild.
Just a big wall puncher of a guy, eh? Just a big unit.
But you know when this is all over, I'm very happy to kind of participate in this. But I think there's a great poll discussion to be had about who is the greatest right back in St Johnstone's history. Because obviously with Dave Mackay, he was our captain and he won the cup. A lot of people were big fans of Danny McNamara. Now young kids just revelation would be Sean Rooney. And then if you go back even into my era, some of the kind of characters, Charlie McFadden was probably the first right back I remember. And he was kind of more your dogged, rugged, sort of talented right back.
Yeah.
And it'd be really interesting to take out different positions and say, in a dream team, irrespective of age, who plays, you know, and that jersey would be one of the hardest to fill, you know, the number 2. You're going to drop Dave Mackay for Rooney? That's a hard one, isn't it? You know.
I would not want to be the one making that decision. Thankfully, I don't have to. Are you getting to the game on Saturday?
I am, yes. I've managed to access a way in with BBC Scotland. Basically, Stevie Miller, who's the producer of Off the Ball, is also a big St Johnstone fan. So he said to me, I'll work away early. And as soon, well, of course, we put Rangers out. But as soon as, you know, Rangers or Celtic are out, the media clearly kind of gets less interested.
Yeah.
And that meant that there was going to be maybe less of a BBC presence than would be otherwise. And there would be less demand from kind of hangers-on. And I saw an opportunity and I went in and I'll say, I'll do any chat you want for me, just get me in that stadium. And it's actually going to be a big one because Stan Harris, who's on the board, you'll know Stan.
Yeah.
Stan and I go way back. We were all in Perth Soul clubs together when we were kids growing up. And we'd both, not in the same bus, we'd both separately been at the League Cup final in 71. And we'd all obviously gone to the Challenge Cup final and then to the Big E at Celtic Park with 2014. And now he's been in this one. And I think that the two of us are maybe the only living people that have been to all the finals in person. He holds one over me that he managed to get to Minsk in the European Games, and I couldn't get a visa. So every single time I talk about, we are the only guys that have beaten them all, he says, but you weren't in Minsk.
There you go, he's got that one over you. How is he feeling now? Anyway, I texted him midweek. I think he's getting back on the road to recovery.
He's feeling a lot better, and I was, not wishing him ill will or anything like that, But if he was to stay in the hospital till after Saturday, I'd have another one over him.
No chance of that.
I mean, he's been a great friend over a lifetime, and I don't think either of us would have ever imagined that we'd see Saints achieving what they've done, you know.
No, certainly not. Dan?
No, that was it.
Was that your point?
You've answered my question. I was going to say, do you think you're the only one? But I actually forgot that Stan would have been at all of them as well. But I've got you. Do you have of the ones so far? Do you have a favourite?
Well, you know what? I kind of live all of these things vicariously. My wee boy Jack, I came late to fatherhood, but my wee boy Jack was born when I was my final few years at Channel 4, so 2012. I'd finished the Paralympics for Channel 4, and I was pretty much exhausted. And we were commuting between Glasgow and London, and I was also, my partner Sharani was working a lot intensively as well. So we were sharing, taking the wee guy here, there, and everywhere. And I remember being stuck in Bristol Airport, and the last plane to Glasgow failed its engineering, and we had to go in a hotel. And it was just me and this kind of 5 or 6 month old kid. And I thought, that's it. I need to kind of find another way of managing this. So I took a deal with Channel 4 and reorientated my life permanently back to Scotland. I'd been commuting for nearly 20 years. But in the process of doing that, here was this wee guy, and he was growing up. He didn't really understand football, but he liked all the stuff about people cheering and jumping and all that. He liked the physical action. And so I took him along to the 2014 final. I've got a great photograph of us in the area. In fact, actually, kind of below, in the deck below your flag, just off to the right, and we had a great sight of the goal, certainly the second one, McLean's goal, and he just loved all the jumping about and whatever. And a guy next to us, I have no idea who he was. I've seen photographs of him because we had a camera with us, and he had a jester's hat, like a jingly jangly one, the blue and white one, and he put it on my wee boy's head, and I took a photograph. And we've got it framed. I've got a montage of photographs framed in the kitchen. And he gets up nearly every day and he'll say to me, where is my jingly jangly hat? Who stole it? And I'm like, Jack, nobody stole it. It wasn't yours, it was another guy's. So he's got this kind of love. And he has, he kind of does his wee dances when I'm watching, and if Saints score, he gets excited. But he doesn't, I don't think he really has yet. He's 7 now. He's not really fully engaged with football, but he's grown up with Saints. And I know that deep down in his heart, he's got a kind of love for them. And one of his things that he does, which is absolutely bonkers, I used to do this little conversation with him. You know the old nursery rhyme, and the dish ran away with the spoon. I don't know what the nursery rhyme is. And I used to chase him around the house with this pudding dish and a wooden spoon. And then one night, out of nowhere, I said, and the dish ran away with Davy Witherspoon, right? And every single time that Spoonie scores or that he's having a great game, he goes to the corner and gets this big wooden spoon, runs around and shouts about Spoonie. So he's kind of fallen in love with him. And I think probably as he gets older in life, he may or may not like football. That'll be his choice. But I think that I've already ingrained in him a love affair for Saints,
Yeah, I completely get that. My son's 6, and driving into Perth from where I am in Auchterarder, there's the big billboards at the Cherry Bank, and they've got the flag on the roof and all the pot plants sponsoring the Saints badges everywhere. So he gets it. We had a season ticket last year. Now he's asked to go back next season. When can we get back to the football, which is great.
He started playing as well.
Yeah, we've got him playing now for Fair City, and he seems to enjoy it. First thing he said is, can I come back? And that's kind of what you want to hear from your son playing football. But no, Perth seems to be taking it. They've got the big flag on the grouse on the Broxden roundabout again, went up today, I seen.
Yeah, no, that's good news. That's kind of becoming almost a kind of little symbol of things going on and whatever. So I've got to do a couple of things on a couple of things that I'm doing for the BBC over the next 2 days, and then I'm going to get my memorabilia outside the front of my house, the stall tire I've got, and my Saints stuff and everything. And I'm sure the neighbours think, oh, what the fuck's going on there?
Here he goes again.
I don't care, you know.
No,
At least we're not wrecking George Square.
Well, this is it. What an absolute farce that is. I remember reading the headlines about that when it was Saints riot at McDiarmid Park, and one of the other headlines was Rangers fans celebrate title win. You're like, what?
Yeah, sorry.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
But the Cup double, I was reading an article today from Jockey Scott saying that it would eclipse Aberdeen's Cup double in '89. Basically for the fact that they had a lot of finances, they have massive players, we've not got any internationals in our team. Would this be the biggest upset in Scottish Cup football? At St Johnstone Cup double?
Well, I just want you to be able to clip this, Sam and Danny. I am now, for the first time in my life, about to agree with Jockey Scott.
Wow.
Right?
A Jockey Scott. A Dogger Saints exclusive.
Say, Jockey, you're a visionary man. This would be one of the greatest ever Cup achievements. Because the Aberdeen team of that era contained a number of kind of major established internationalists, Alec McLeish being one of them, but numerous kind of players that were in the Scotland team or thereabouts. And as you know, we've been largely overlooked again in that department, and our team are going out with no big names really into the final. Big names to us as Saints fans, but not to the rest of Scottish football. And that, for me, makes it a bigger achievement overall. And of course, we're not as resourced to the level that Aberdeen were. And that was in a period when resources were more flattened. You didn't have the Celtic and Rangers, the kind of big TV deals, the Sky pouring money into those clubs, and they didn't have anything like the fan base that they've got now, because much as they like to talk about are 50 and 60,000, going back to that period of time, Rangers were sometimes down to 5,000 and 6,000, so it's just different days. And I think now that our achievement is one that for me, for a small community club from Perth, a place that often people don't even consider to be a football town, winds me up that, but that's what they say. I think that we're batting way above our weight, and it's a great achievement.
It is. There'll be about 40 chairmen up and down the country tearing their hair out, wondering how the fuck we've managed it on the budget we've got, with the fan base we've got. I know that's always talked about the fan base. I don't use that as an excuse, but what is it? What have the Browns done?
Well, I think that one of the things about it is St Johnstone have got what very, very few other clubs have, and that's a kind of continuity in terms of continuity of the board, continuity of the management and the coaching, continuity of players that have stayed with us through 2, 3, 4 periods of contract. And if you look this week with guys like the recent ones that we've recommitted to, Muzz, Liam Craig, Stevie May. These are guys that have been with St Johnstone over a very, very long period of time and have been the core and heart of the kind of playing squad. And I think that paints us in a very, very good way. And I think the other thing about it is we've never tried to do any of those kind of throwing money at players that don't really actually deliver to the level of their kind of wage, breaking kind of wage levels that make other players a bit kind of not jealous, but just saying, well, he's not pulling his weight for the money he's on, and it starts to corrode, I think, the inner kind of purpose of a squad. And the other thing that I would add to that is that we've now managed to pull together, probably for the very first time, we've pulled together a generation of players from our own development culture, from our own academy, if you like, that have come through and actually feel very comfortable with the club. I was just reading this morning, I think it was Matthew that had written it, but I was just reading this morning an interview with Jason Kerr's mum, and you can see in her as a parent huge pride in her son playing for St Johnstone, something that probably in the 80s, the 70s and 80s just wasn't there at the club. So I think there's a number of reasons for that. And I think that although I notice very much that there are people on the websites that like to have a go, and they like to have a wee pop at Steve Brown and his kind of doom and gloom attitude. It's probably been that we've been well managed and from the board all the way through the structure of the club. I noticed today, just think about this. We drew 0-0 with Livingston, and on goal difference, that meant we were above them in the league. I saw today that they'd freed something like 12 players. Now, all of those 12 players, for some reason or another, have to be replaced. Who are they going to be replaced by? They'll be replaced by some loan signings up from England, a few people maybe from the conference leagues and upwards, one or two players that fall out of kind of contention at Hearts, or, and then there'll be one or two maybe from their own development. But it feels like they're starting again.
Yeah.
It feels like they'll start next season with an almost entirely new squad. And I can see them, not because I'm having a go at Livingston, but they're already contenders to be bottom six on the basis of doing that,
Yeah, we had that conversation with the Livy guys. While Saints maybe changed 2 or 3 personnel a season, changing a whole team, they weren't that far away. They were only 2 goals behind us over the course of a season, so they weren't that far off. I know their form was absolutely guff at the moment, but yeah, they weren't that far away from doing it. But restarting, I think there'll be relegation fodder next year, certainly. Livy. Dan?
Yeah, just a quick one to bring up. You've obviously spoke about the continuity there, Stuart. And it's just something that always astonishes me. The last time a St Johnstone manager was relieved of his duties was 16 years ago. I mean, that must help. I mean, obviously, managers have gone on to different opportunities. Owen Coyle, he left and to go to Burnley and had such great success there. But it is astonishing, and it says an awful lot about the club, I think.
Yeah.
And
see, I think one of the things that they do is that Saints are very upfront with their managers. They literally say, this is the budget. This is what we can afford to pay. And if you want another player in, it needs to be 500-600 quid a week. You can't bring guys in that want 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
So don't even have the conversation with their agent, because it's not happening. And I think that degree of integrity and honesty has allowed us to get players. There are players that have come and maybe they've taken a little kind of dip in their wages. I think maybe in his career, if Liam Craig had wanted to move himself about every season, he could have probably done that. He went to Hibs for that brief spell, but he could have kept doing that, and across the time would have maybe made more money, but he wouldn't have anything like the player success that he's had. Nothing like it.
No, I've never known a club to have so many players sitting on a testimonial as well. The difference between, if they're not coming from the youth system, they're due a testimonial. That's pretty much how the team's sitting at the moment, which is frightening. But I was listening to a report, and they were talking about Callum Davidson. If he wins the cup, he'll leave at the end of the season, because what else is there for him? I think the reason people like Jason Kerr are committing themselves to the club is because they're sold an idea of doing well in Europe next season. Players want to play in Europe. You'd think Callum will stick around to see that out, you'd think.
Well, look, people make an awful lot of rash decisions and assumptions about people. And I always turn around and say, think very hard about what they want for their life, because not everybody necessarily measures things by money. I know in my last 4 or 5 years at Channel 4, I was on exceptional money, but I was also having to struggle with the fact that a wee boy was going to have to go into a nursery and start primary school, and they started to influence my decisions.
Yep.
And in the end, I thought, I wanted him to grow up in Scotland, and we're settled in Glasgow, so I'm not that interested in always going down to London. Now, I remember it was Dave Mackay said to me once, he said him and his wife had worked out somewhere. He told me kind of roughly the area. It was in Bathgate. And they bought a house, and the day they sat down to buy the house, he worked out that he was still within commuting distance of something like 15 Scottish clubs. And the reason that that was a sensible and reasonable place for them to live was that he could continue his career without kind of upping sticks, without having to move, without having to be way out of his price league and things like that. And I think at the level of St Johnstone, people are making decisions like that all the time. They're not necessarily thinking, oh, I could go down to Fleetwood for an extra few grand and not get a game, and then I'll come back up the road and I'll have paid 45% tax and I've got 20 grand in the bank. It's not nearly as romantic and attractive as some people paint it out to be.
Fleetwood certainly isn't romantic, Stuart. I'm from 10 minutes from Fleetwood. That's not a romantic. That's not a romantic site.
Sorry, Danny, where are you from, actually?
I'm actually from Blackpool originally.
All right, yeah. I've very, very fond memories of Blackpool. My not just the Northern Soul scene, but my colleague at Channel 4, Andy Mackenzie, was from a Scottish family in Blackpool, and there was a period of time when at Channel 4, Blackpool had the biggest supporters group. There were 4 people in the senior management that were all Blackpool fans. This would have been going back to the days when Mickey Mellon was playing for them. That kind of era, you know.
Not as good as Era's Elliot Parish era. That was always a fun one.
That was fun.
Let's get a prediction from you. What do you think?
You know what? I usually err on the side of caution, because I'm actually a very nervous fan watching the game. But I have a feeling. I think that there's a feeling that I've got. It's not arrogant. It's not self-confident. It's just a deep feeling. When we went into the 2014 Cup final, we had a great league experience against Dundee United, and it felt very much that Tommy Wright had the Indian sign over Jackie McNamara. And I kind of go into this Hibs game thinking this Hibs team probably get more media attention. They probably, with their front 3 players, get a lot more prospects of scoring goals. But there's something about St Johnstone that's had good results against Hibs. So I think we're going into this. This final not as rank outsiders. And I think if we get the rub on the day, I think we'll win 2-1.
I'll take 2-1 every day of the week. It'll be a great day. I really hope you enjoy it. And again, I hope Stan makes it. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, as well. And guys, can I just also thank you for all the stuff you're doing? I mean, I'm away in Glasgow. I'm not living in the Perth area anymore. Close to my heart, but it's sometimes great to be able to get up in the morning and listen to something that's kind of got a wee bit of Saints bias within it, you know. So well done for everything you've done. I really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate it as well. Thanks for our shout out last week. We did hear. Thanks again, Stuart. Enjoy the match. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
See you. Bye-bye. Oh, what a privilege that was. What a guy.
Unbelievable. A guy who was at the NME, which I read religiously for years and years, who was heavily involved in Father Ted, possibly my favourite programme of all time, when he was at Channel 4 and has done Off the Ball for a quarter of a century. He's thanking us for what we're doing.
Nonsense. He's a pop culture icon, the man.
Boggles my mind. Oh, you know, that's without mentioning the Soul trilogy and all that. I mean, that was a real buzz doing that interview.
See, I even had sensible, clever questions for him because I did a bit of research. Well, obviously his latest book's called Cassius X, The Making of a Legend. And I was like, who at St Johnstone has got the making to be a legend? See, that's brilliant. We ended up talking about what you could nick from a cup final.
But that is exactly the way. It is very in keeping with this podcast. That is generally what has happened.
Yeah.
Constantly.
We go down one road and end up somewhere very, very different.
Yeah, the first week we did this. Remember when we had Matt Kinesby on?
I do.
I had questions about adapting as a footballer from Scottish leagues to go to Fulham and all that. And we just ended up talking about nights out and stuff like that.
You do. The best night out we had. If you've not listened yet, we did a little spin-off episode in between this special and our previous one on Monday called The Lock-In, and it was an interview with Gordon Smart, another big massive character in media who's friends with Kieran McAnespie. And if you want to hear what Kieran McAnespie did in a nightclub in London, which was ridiculous, make sure and give that one a listen. But it was a great interview. It's just a wee snippet, wee 35 minutes, something to tide you over if you're stuck in traffic. It's a good listen. Very funny.
I can vouch for that. I know I was, involved in the recording of it, but I can vouch that it's pretty good. I've listened to it.
Yeah, good. Do you know what else is really good?
St Johnstone Cup final week.
Oh, that's big. It's been a long week, innit? A long old week. Do you know what else is good news? This was my original point. This is where I was going with this.
Why don't you tell me, Sam?
Pub's been open to sit inside.
Oh, that's good news, especially given every day at some point since the pub's opened outdoors, it's been like the Old Testament.
Yeah, it's been absolutely pissing down, but do you know what? You're not quite getting where I'm going with this. Guess what pub is open, Dan?
Oh, my sweet prince. The Hound.
Nope. Still not going where I'm going with this. It's the Pissin' Royal. Jeez, oh, Dan. We need to get some sleep.
Yeah, maybe. I wanted you to introduce it. You do that bit well.
Thank you. As a double act, maybe we need to work on our slickness.
Nah, it's part of the charm.
Indeed it is. Now, we've got a special this week, a George O'Boyle and the Royal special. Now, as part of the cup final tradition, as Stuart Cosgrove touched on, the grouse in the middle of Broxden roundabout has been adorned with his hat and his big giant scarf, which apparently, according to our later guests, may have signed for St Johnstone. He'll touch on that one later. So we're doing a Broxden special. We've actually had a few come in over the last couple of days. Ex-St Johnstone players spotted at Broxden services. Unbelievably, we've had three players spotted at Broxden services.
It's a convenient midpoint for the whole country.
It really is, yeah. I bumped into some old army pals up there. I was on a lunch break from my old job at Struan's, and then I'd seen them all in their army van. Couldn't believe it.
I bump into the staff at McDonald's there quite frequently. Does that count?
Yeah. Anyway, we've got two members of the current St Johnstone team. Would that be fair to say? Well, one is the manager. Kind of gives it away a little bit. Who did they see?
Yeah, they're giving that away. Right, anyway. So the first one, these are both coming from our pal St Johnstone fans' voice. He sent us them via Instagram. So we've got two O'Boyle in the Royal. So his mate, who isn't a Saints fan, so Callum Booth filling his car up. You got to do it. You don't want to run out of petrol.
It's an expensive garage. He's obviously getting too much money.
He's getting way too much money. And it's got a, but it has got a Subway there.
Does. Good Subway.
Good Subway too. Anyway, so it's a mundane task, but you got to do it.
It is. Good spot.
So you are compliant with the highway code. And then the other one, and I've lost a little bit of respect for the gaffer here, but his mate saw Callum Davison outside Costa. Starbucks is better, mate.
Oh, see, at least it wasn't the Costa Express machine at the petrol station.
Yeah, at least he's gone to the one. In fact, I'm just a big fan of like coffee shops with a drive-through or anything with a drive-through. McDonald's.
Yeah. McDonald's coffee's all right. I actually prefer it to Costa.
If you are at Hamilton Services,
I know the one. Just there, it's got the drive-through both of them, isn't it? Just off the left.
Yeah. There you got Costa and McDonald's, and you want a coffee. Oh, which one are you going for?
Exactly right. 99p, 99 pence. That's a steal for a coffee.
Oh, it's an absolute steal.
I remember I went through the drive-through at McDonald's up at Broxden and asked for an Americano, and she went, And I went, sorry, a white coffee. She went, all right, okay.
Yeah. It's lucky they weren't doing some sort of American range. You could have ended up with some sort of burger. Anyway. So, and then we've got another one to round off the Broxden special. And this is a bit of a belter, actually. This is our mate Paul Taylor, who sent this in to us. So he's seen former Saints midfielder Paul Hartley.
Good. One of the very few players to leave St Johnstone and go on and do bigger and better things. Very few people do that, and he did just that. Went to Hearts, went to Celtic, and in the Scotland team. And
he did, and he grew a good beard in the end.
Bit greasy looking guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is a bit greasy, but he had good coverage on the old beard.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Paul's seen him at the SO garage at Broxden buying a pot noodle. He thinks it was chicken and mushroom flavour.
Brilliant. That is the kind of stuff we want on this podcast. Where have you seen a St Johnstone player buying a pot noodle, and what flavour did they go for? Send in, what St Johnstone player do you think would buy certain flavours? Who'd be a Bombay bad boy kind of guy?
Rooney.
Yeah, bro. He's the type of guy who would carry a bottle of Frank's hot sauce with him to add it to any meal. A sausage roll, Frank's hot sauce, bang.
He probably wouldn't even enjoy it, but it's just to prove a point. It's for the image. Spoonie's definitely a chow mein guy.
Oh, yeah. What is that, the turquoisey one?
Yeah.
We've heard Stevie May's really tight. He'll be the coca noodles, the 30p ones, the little square packets. He carries a little thermos of hot water with him.
Yeah, good. Anyway.
If you've ever seen Stevie May making cocoa noodles in a flask in a car park, let us know.
Absolutely. But Sam, in the words of great philosopher Jermaine Jackson, brother of Tito, let's get serious.
Indeed. So, if you've ever seen a St Johnstone player, what have they been doing? Dan's been very, very, very excited about this one. He's rubbing his hands. He is very excited. Over to you, Daniel.
Saints players, Saints Cup heroes. Where have you seen them? What have they been doing? Are they filling the car up? Are they buying pot noodles? What other wacky adventures will these guys get up to? I'm going to give you some examples. And it's Cup final week, so it's a Cup final special. Wow. Have you ever seen 1998 League Cup final goal scorer Nick Dasovic cutting the ribbon at the grand opening of a new duck pond in Balbeggy? It could have happened. Seems like something he'd do.
I would do.
He'd be the Grand Marshal. Anyway.
Do you think he'd have them big oversized scissors? We'll talk about this at the end. Sorry, we'll crack on. We'll dissect this at the end. Go.
I like the idea of the scissors. Anyway, sticking with the League Cup. Have you ever seen 2021 League Cup goal scoring hero and Bombay bad boy aficionado Sean Rooney sauntering down Marshall Place, blasting R.E.M's seminal 1992 album Automatic for the People out of that big old boombox of his?
Good album. Very good album. I doubt it's happened, but still, good.
I just got the image of Sean Rooney going down with his boombox playing Night Swimming.
Everybody Hurts, that was on there.
Yeah, that was on there. Good album.
Good album.
Maybe the League Cup's not your thing. It should be. We won it. We hold it. But the Scottish Cup might be your thing. So have you ever seen the scorer of the opening goal in the 2014 Scottish Cup final, Stevie Anderson, having a damn fine time at the Imperial War Museum North in Salford? It's worth the trip. And Ando could have made it. If you've seen it, you let us know.
Chaos.
If that's not enough for you, have you ever seen the man whose goal secured the 2014 Cup triumph? Present St Johnstone coach Stephen McLean badgering staff at HMV Stirling about how to locate a CD copy of Len's 1999 single, Steal My Sunshine.
Great song. Big fan of that.
I know it's up for me if you steal my sunshine, but I know you wouldn't. Get there.
I'm going to crack open another beer. There's a lot to take in there, and I don't know where to start.
Go for a lie down now.
And I think we should just chill out for a little while and listen to our fantastic interview with Craig Bryson, which we had earlier on tonight. What a treat that was.
Absolute treat. I'm so looking forward, again, like the interview with Stuart before, I'm so looking forward to everyone hearing this because we enjoyed it so much and we think you will too.
Do you want to know what David Witherspoon has instead of a coffee? You're about to. Here he is. It's Craig Bryson. How you doing, my friend? You okay?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Is that signal all right?
It's actually better than Danny's, unbelievably. Kilmarnock got Wi-Fi now, is it?
I just got it, mate. Just got it yesterday.
Well, thanks for joining us. It's Cup final week. We'll just dive straight in. We'll apologise for the delay. Danny's council work was running over. You all right, Dan?
No problem.
Oh, I'm peachy, mate.
Good. Right. We'll go in. Dan and I, Craig, would describe you as a hard-working, dependable box-to-box midfielder with incredible professional approach to the game. Elliot Parish, on the other hand, described you as the smallest man in football with half an ankle. Discuss.
It says that a lot, to be fair. I think they've got a decent wee nickname for us. They call us Warwick, which isn't ideal. But Elliot started it. He's a bit chirpy that way, you know what I mean? You know what the English are like, they're chirpy, so
aye.
Well, you know, let's not go casting aspersions over all of us. Anyone south of Birmingham, maybe.
I'm actually gutted that it's stuck, but so anytime I try and give somebody a bit of banter, they just say, "Oh, hi, no bother, Warwick." So,
he said he referred to you as the maxi pad.
I know. I don't know if the gaffer listens to this, so I'd rather he just accepts that and he went down that route. But I think it's because he only plays like once every 9 months, and maybe in the old Betfred Cup first round or something like that.
That's it. A couple of the pre-season friendlies and all that. And when everybody's either got injured or got COVID, and he comes.
Basically, and after I play a game, the gaffer just likes to give me a rest for a few weeks. So
Completely
I think that's where that
understandable.
came from.
Big week, massive week for St Johnstone. Preparations, it'd be fair to say, haven't really gone as how everybody would have hoped at the club. But how's things in the camp? How is everybody?
Like that's a great thing about St Johnstone, to be honest. We've got a really good group of lads, and everybody just gets on with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's something out of our control. Obviously, we can't do anything about it. And the lads have been brilliant, to be fair. We're obviously missing a few players, and we went to Parkhead, and when we went to Easter Road and stuff like that. But it's just one of the things. Hopefully everybody's back for Saturday, and we can put in a good performance, and hopefully do the cup double this year.
That would be unbelievable. We've spoken to a couple of Hibs fans, and they're a little bit worried because they think St Johnstone have got the working out of Hibs. What's been a success against them this season?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. We kind of turn up and try and play our own game, no matter who we're playing against. We very rarely change the way we're playing. We kind of get two systems to use, and we go between that. And I don't know, it's just kind of went well. Obviously, we see the season we've had, it's kind of worked against a few clubs, not just Hibs, but obviously we beat them the last couple of games, which is a bonus for us and helped to secure, obviously, the Betfred Cup and 5th place.
Great. I take it it's business as normal in terms of preparation. It's no kind of away to a fancy hotel or anything before the game, or is it just basically treat it as a normal game?
It's exactly that. I know it's obviously the biggest cliche in football. The next game's the most important, but at St Johnstone, like when we first got to the first semi-final, I was thinking, obviously being down south, most games you're in a hotel, and when we went to Wembley and stuff, obviously it became a massive occasion. You're getting new suits, all that kind of rubbish. So I just expected that we'd be in a hotel before the semi-final against Hibs, and I think it just went up on the board when we were doing the team. There's a meeting point in Glasgow, and you just got on the bus here and go to the stadium, and that was kind of it. So it was a bit different for me, preparation in that ways, but I actually quite like it. Everybody gets to sleep in their own bed. You obviously go home on a Friday, back to your normal life, normality, prepare the way you want to prepare, because when you're in hotels, you have to prepare that wee bit different.
Who would you not want to share a hotel room with?
Elle. Elle. Well, it's not even Elle anymore, is it? You're going to have to answer this, because when he came off this podcast, he came into training the next day with a nickname, El Paz. He blamed that on you, but the lads are a bit sceptical about that. So
that might have been me, because I do have this habit of just coming up with stupid nicknames for people that they don't even particularly like.
Getting a fair bit of stick for it, because all the lads thought he just came in and started calling himself El Paz. But
well, there we go. We'll just go with that then. We don't know what we don't know what he's talking about. He said, refer to me as El Paz. Do not call me Elliot on this podcast. I only go by El Paz. That's what he said to us. So
yeah, I remember that, Sam. Craig, just a quick one for you, actually. Just a point that you touched upon then about how you just, the team just turns up, goes about their own business. Did that sort of help you? Because obviously around, first half of the season, results maybe weren't going the same, the way that we'd have all liked. Did that sort of just help with the great run we've had second half of the season? Because performances and approach don't really seem to have changed that much.
No, it never changes. And I think when I joined St Johnstone, we were maybe bottom of the table, and I was thinking probably joining, and it could be a relegation battle. And if we stay in the league, we've done well. But then when you get to the club and you see the work that we do in the training ground, and you actually watch the games, like I did for the first couple of weeks, and you see the way the lads are playing, and the chances we were creating, we just weren't taking our chances, and we conceded a sloppy goal. So the manager kept on saying after the games, look, we just need to keep on believing the process, keep on believing what we're doing, and if we keep on putting the performances in that we are doing, then our luck will change. And to be fair, he's been right. We haven't changed at all. We've kept on doing the same work. Everybody knows their job in the team, and I think that's all credit to him. And I actually think he obviously makes a lot of changes every game, so I think it's hard to pick the team, which is strange for some managers. But I don't think when we make changes to the team, it actually weakens us, because I think everybody knows their job that well. It's kind of seamless when a gaffer makes changes. Everybody comes in, does their job. We've got a really, really good, honest, hard-working group of players, and it's rare to probably say that these days.
Yeah, there's no mega egos in the team. We're looking at the stats. The last team outside the Old Firm to do the Cup double was Aberdeen in 89, 90. And they had like Alec McLeish and Charlie Nicholas and all these superstars. So we're speaking to Stuart Cosgrove from Off the Ball. He said it would probably be the biggest Scottish Football Cup upset in history if Saints were to do the Cup double. Now, I know it'd be a massive occasion, but will it take a couple of weeks after the final if you were to go on to win it for it to reflect, or he's well aware of the importance of this, or he's just taking it? Is it cliche stuff? Just take it as a single one-off game and then deal with that afterwards?
Yeah, it is all the cliche stuff, just to keep everybody like grounded and ready and focused on the game. But I think at the start of the season, if somebody said that St Johnstone were going to do the Cup double and finish in Europe, I'm not sure many people would have believed you. To be honest, well, obviously we've had a great season up until now, also winning the Betfred Cup and finishing in Europe, and obviously I took that at the start of the season, so we've kind of got this like one-off game coming up on Saturday where it's kind of win-win for us because of the season that we've had. But now you're in the Scottish Cup final, you definitely want to go on and finish the job, and you want to win it. And I think I'd agree with that. I think if we do the double and finished in Europe, obviously, then out with the old firm, it's definitely one of the biggest achievements in Scottish football, in my opinion.
And you'll be here and you'll be around next season as well to take part in the European adventure. You signed a new deal.
Yeah, I'm obviously delighted with that. Obviously, it's fair play to the manager again. Obviously, I had a tough spell up at Aberdeen, so we'll not go into that at all. But
no, never happened.
I had about what? I've averaged it for my career as well. I had like a tough 12 to 18 months maybe with an ankle injury. We decided to kind of part terms. Then the gaffer just phoned me straight away and wanted me to come up. And it's fair play to him because obviously I've had a decent career. But if you looked at the recent time, I'd been injured for that amount of time. It kind of, I don't want to say he took a chance, but well, he did actually take a chance, to be honest. Took a chance on me going up there, getting fit and getting back to the level that I could be at. So it's all credit to him. And when they said they wanted me to offer a new contract, there wasn't really any negotiation. It was just kind of, right, let's get the paperwork sorted and get signed, because I think in football a bit of loyalty has been lost, and the loyalty the manager showed to me by bringing me to the club when I was injured, giving me the time to get fit, I felt that it was the right thing to do. Was to sign a new contract at the club, and I love it up at St Johnstone, to be honest. The manager's excellent, the coaching staff, and it's just been a shame that the fans haven't been in this season. But it'll be good, hopefully, like, next season when the fans are allowed back in, I can get a chance to play in front of them as well.
It's amazing that we were discussing the other day, not one St Johnstone fan has seen yourself, Guy, Sean Rooney play in the flesh, which is unbelievable because we think we know everything about them. Speaking of Sean Rooney, how mental is the guy?
He's an idiot. He's just an idiot, but he's a great guy, like probably one of the best guys I met in football. Like, character wise, he's just positive. He's just mental, like just around the place. He's mental. I don't know if you've seen him like on the jukebox. He just bought that out the balloon and brought it into the training ground, and just before training started doing some karaoke when all the lads are just getting ready to go out to training. I think it was that loud, the gaffer just had to shout down the corridor and tell him to shut up. And I don't know, I think he just, to be honest, I think he just continued doing it anyway.
Speaking out for the boys, they've all kind of said that. He's speaking to El Parish again. El Paz.
El Paz.
He says he just rocks up to training like Arsenal kits and stuff. He just doesn't really give a shit.
Nah, I find that weird. He does turn up in football strips, and I don't think it's a shock to him that he's a big Celtic fan. I think he's got Celtic key rings and Celtic. I think he actually wore Celtic socks into training one time, which is a bit bizarre, but that's just the way it is. He's just not bothered. He's just a great guy to have around the changing room. Honestly, you need players like that in your team. Even when he's not playing, like, his attitude and his mood doesn't change at all. He's just a team player. He's just somebody that's great around the place, and everybody loves him.
And about that team spirit and everything around the place, it's so great to see so many the boys that are there this season signed up for next season. Jason Kerr again saying he wants to stay. Chris Kane signing this new deal this week. Hopefully, you'd think the majority of the bulk of that squad will still be here for the crack at Europe.
This is another question that you're going to have to answer, and again, it's part of the coffee club that are making me ask it. I think I listened to El Paz's podcast when I was cutting the grass, which honestly bored the life out of me. But not you.
Not ours, I was waiting to say just him. Yeah.
When he started talking about cricket, honestly, I just thought about
that was partly me to blame, Craig. I'm going to share blame with him on that one.
It's these these English folk in their cricket. That's nothing to do with me. I'll wash my hands of that chat altogether. I just sat back and made myself a cup of tea.
I had to deal with that chat for 8 years when I was down south, and honestly, I thought I'd get rid of it when I come back up here. Then every day he comes in and he's talking about cricket, and it's just pleasure nothing. But anyway, he gave you a Dogger Saints exclusive that he signed a new contract.
He did indeed, yes.
Yeah, but it kind of seems like St Johnstone have forgot to announce it, so we don't actually know if he's signed a contract or not. And, I don't know if you can confirm if he has or not. Because I asked the gaffer the other day in training if he'd signed, and he didn't really want to confirm it. All the lads,
well, we've got
the lads basically in the group chat asking him if he's signed. They said he's signed, but I don't know. It's a wee bit of a grey area because every day there seems to be somebody else signing a contract extension, and then El's just in the background, and we're like, El, this might be your moment. Like they might announce it and stuff, but I think they announced another lad today, like Sam Demham,
the youngster.
He's on loan at Edinburgh City right now, and like they're announcing he's signed a deal, and El's just sitting in the change room. And I don't know if you can come up with an answer, to be honest. But what's that? And see that thing in Broxden roundabout? Is that a grouse?
Yeah.
A few lads, but I'm not one to name names, but Stevie May thinks we might announce him as a new signing before El.
But yeah, two options. He's either made it up just to make himself sound better, or two, he's just absolutely secretly furious when he's actually signed a deal and they haven't even announced it because nobody really gives a shit about the second choice goalkeeper. That's the two options, basically.
I think the club are maybe scared of the backlash. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. If they sign him, they're just gonna not before season ticket renewal time. They don't want to announce something like that. I don't think.
Or he's not been offered one and he's trying to back the club into a corner. Just by going around telling people, and then it'll be too. They don't want to upset him after he's got all excited. Kind of I'm
going to. I think he's trying to force the club's hand.
A sympathy contract.
Yeah, but honestly, it is actually excellent that the majority of lads are signing up again. I think they deserve it after the season we've had, and it'll be good for all the lads to experience European football and stuff. And hopefully, if we do win the Scottish Cup, I might be right in saying that we go in at a later stage as well, and it could go until December maybe or something.
That's right. Yeah, what we've seen it may have changed, but there was rumours that it might change. But yeah, we go into the Europa League playoff stage, lose that, and we go straight into the group stages. So you're guaranteed 4 home and 4 away European games, which is absolutely massive for the club. And if the fans can get to them, I've been to some St Johnstone European away games. They're absolutely superb. The following St Johnstone get is more than like some home away games, because let's not beat around the bush. People like an away trip.
I know. No, it'd be perfect. It would be, like you said, it'd be great for the club and great for this group of players. And usually sometimes at the club at the end of the season, a lot of players leave and move on to different things. But it's fantastic that we've tied down so many players that have got the club into this position, and they'll get to experience European football next season.
Exactly right. Oh, and are you a part of the coffee club?
I am.
Right, I'm due you a mug as well. There's a new design coming out, a new European one. You'll get the first off the batch when they come in. I'll have to drop that in the club for you. That's the deal, how it works. If you come on the podcast, you get a mug.
Perfect. Just don't get a spoonie on it, because he orders a mad drink that you're actually quite embarrassed to order.
Oh, is it one of the frozen icy ones?
Nah, I ordered something like an oat milk hot chocolate or something. You actually just look cringing asking for it.
You would, yeah. You'd have to a wee disclaimer after that saying this is not for me. But my friend wants to order.
It's not for a Dogger Saints mug.
No, it's certainly not. We'll go back to the final on Saturday. What's the plans after the match? Win or lose?
I'm honestly not sure. I think in football, well, what I've kind of been aware of, that people are a wee bit superstitious. They don't like to kind of plan anything, or if they have planned anything, they don't really like to tell anybody, just because they don't like to tempt fate and stuff like that. But I'm sure that we'll manage to do something. Obviously, it's been a great season, no matter what happens in Saturday. So hopefully there's something that we can do. But obviously with all this COVID and restrictions that are still in, then you never know. And obviously I've been in trouble before with the old COVID stuff, so I'm not really in a great place to break the rules again.
We'll finish up with one or two more points. You said cricket bore you to tears. Are you part of the NFL group chat?
No, that's another thing. Honestly, like a lot of the lads, they're kids and stuff, and they're coming in and they're talking about this fantasy league NFL rubbish. Honestly, that I'm due to leave this coffee club for a few reasons, because you've got Mazo just he gave it a big in Maisel about how he was going to shave his hair and all that stuff. And
yeah.
when it came out, he shat the bed. Like, basically, he watched Kano do it, and then he came up with some excuse that the Clippers weren't of a good enough standard, or something like that, honestly. And also, he doesn't like to buy a coffee. He's like tighter than 2 coats of paint, that guy. So, and then you've got El. I'll go through the coffee club a wee bit, because that kind of keeps you going up there for a bit. And El, I don't really want to speak about El again, to be honest.
Nah, he's had his fill. He's had his airtime.
Apart from him, he's having a go at Kano's hair, and that El, he's like one haircut off a trip to Turkey. Do you know what I mean? Like, to get transplant done. So it's kind of pot kettle with him. You've also then got Xander. Oh my God! If I've heard about his assist or goal at Ibrox. He'll make somebody a coffee, and at the end it'll be like, how may I assist you? And then he'll be like walking about the training ground saying like, how many assists you got at Ibrox? I'm thinking like, you should be thanking Kano as much as you can, because your header was going wide. You had a free header 6 yards out and you're putting it wide, and Kano tapped in. And then, did you see him on Twitter the other day actually?
With
Alison Becker.
Yeah, that's what he should have done. And he's like, did you see the trend I started and stuff? So he's just walking about saying, I'll buy the coffees and my assist bonus, lads, and everybody's just like, what a night. What a night.
What a game that was, yeah.
To be fair, everybody talks about Kano and Xander, and I don't really want to give this guy credit, but Ginger's put in an incredible ball. What is it, in 20th minute? I don't know how his legs have got him to the corner flag, and he's managed to whip in a great ball, which kind of goes under the radar, because if he hits the first man there, that's game over and we're out, and we don't get this opportunity. But he's in the coffee club as well, and I've probably never come across a guy that loves football so much in his life. Like, the lads are downstairs talking about like the Champions League and the Premiership stuff, and he comes down and he's basically saying he's subscribed to Dundee TV to watch Dundee versus Arbroath or something. It's just bizarre. And then obviously everybody's putting in their orders for the coffees in the group chat, and he's asking the lads what pastries they want, and boys are just like, Ginge, we're not sitting outside in a cafe in Paris. Do you know what I mean? We don't want any croissants.
The pan au chocolats all round.
He's going to the bakery and everybody just wants a coffee, so that's bizarre. And then the least said about Vinny, the better. We just his order. He may as well just forget it and just leave his cell.
He looks like a hot oat milk hot chocolate kind of guy, to be fair.
I don't even know what to say about Spinney. Yeah.
He's had a good season, though, on the football and front.
He's had a good season. Technically, he's fantastic. He does an incredible job for us. Sometimes goes from like the absolute brilliance to the absolute, I'm not sure what he done there, but he's been incredible for us this season. Incredible the way he just keeps the ball and moves it, and he's got that chop that everybody still falls for in training and in games.
You took the words out of my mouth. How people are still not dealing with that is beyond me. He's been doing it for the last 10 years at St Johnstone. Like, we see it coming before like the opposition players do. It's unbelievable, but it seems to work for the guy.
It's just natural for him. Natural. He's got natural ability, which is tremendous for us, and he produces for us in a weekly basis. So it's great.
The coffee club. Has everybody had a good slate now? Is that everybody through?
Think so, I think so. In fact, I actually texted Liam before I came on here and said, do you want me to mention? He said, you better give Fraser right a bit. So I don't know, I also played with Fraser at Kilmarnock.
Yeah.
And we had a good relationship. We used to have a few nights out in East Kilbride and that, and he would just come back and stay at mine, because we just got out in East Kilbride. I lived in East Kilbride, so I was from there, and I think he was living at Lark all the time, so it was just easy to stay at mine. But it was just one night out, like, we couldn't find him. We were in Centre Point to dance in East Kilbride. Couldn't find him. I was phoning him all the time. Get back to my flat, and he was outside my flat sleeping in a hedge. I was baffled by this, and I just went, Frizz, do you want a pillow, mate? And he just woke up and went, No, you're all right. I'm comfy here.
As you.
Oh, this is bad.
Okay. What's going on here?
know what actually happened there.
No idea. You're back.
I tell you what, my wife's just pulled up in a drive and my car connected to her car. So she would have been confused sitting in the car there, wondering who the two guys were on the phone.
Well, we'll wrap this up. Your good lady is home. Excited for Saturday more than anything. What's the overall emotion for the weekend?
But I'm just really looking forward to it. And I think it'll be a great occasion for the club, for the fans, for the players. We also had some good cup success this season with the Betfred. We would love to obviously win this on Saturday. I've had a few heartbreaks myself at Wembley. Seem to have a bit better luck at Hampden, and we've been there 3 times this season. We've managed to win 3 times, and hopefully come Saturday we've done the cup double and make a bit of history.
Well, if you win the cup, I'll give you 2 mugs because you bloody deserve it.
That'd be incredible. Look forward to it.
A small token, but no,
that makes it worthwhile.
That's it. That's all. That's your focus right there. No, we really appreciate you coming on. We know that you've had you're obviously a mad busy week with all kinds of publicity and media stuff and getting prepared for the weekend. But good luck to you and the boys, and good luck, all the best, and hopefully we'll see you back at McDermott next season in the stands.
I appreciate it, mate. Thanks very much.
Thanks again. Thanks, Craig.
Cheers, Craig. All the best, mate.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Flonix offers flexible IT support, professional IT project delivery and expert IT advice. Our head office is based in Perth, but with offices in Edinburgh, Manchester and London, we service most areas within the UK. We can support any size of company, and we excel in delivering fast, reliable and accountable service to our clients. We take a flexible approach to IT, which is determined by our clients' business needs. We can operate as the client's IT department or add to an existing IT resource within the company. Our people are highly trained professionals who have the expertise to access, repair and maintain any PC, server, network or Apple Mac system. Check out flonix.co.uk for all the details.
What about that then, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely superb. You could tell that they've had the discussion before, and he said, I am going to go in there and absolutely slaughter every single one of the guys. And he did a good job.
Everybody ended up in front of the number 7. We're under it. But it was great fun, and it was much the same as sort of Liam, and to an extent how Paz. It's been that nice balance of actually talking about actual football and workings of things, and then just they're giving us a real treat in terms of talking about the atmosphere around the squad.
There you go. Actually, I text Liam Craig to make him slightly aware that a lot of folk were getting thrown under the bus, and his exact words were, well, that's funny, because if he got thrown under the bus, he'd be able to walk underneath it without bumping his head. That was his reply.
Pretty funny, Liam.
Yeah, did all right there. But, Craig Bryson, been there 17 games he's played for the club, and I would already say an absolutely magnificent servant for the Saints.
Yeah, I think he's been very, very good and a tremendous player to have in the squad. And his experience as well, coming into the club. Obviously, it's a little bit the same as Craig Conway, actually. The new players to the club, but they're older heads in the game. So it's absolutely invaluable to the younger players around.
I don't think people realise how big a player Craig Bryson is. Like, at Derby County, he's still heralded around as an absolute club legend.
One player of the year twice.
He's unbelievable. Remember his hat-trick against Notts Forest in a 5-0 win as well. That was incredible.
That's great. He started and he really got it up, the Forest fans.
Which is brilliant. But no, he's Scotland caps as well. We didn't even touch on any of that. We like to keep things about Saints, except in the lock-in. Then we like to talk about pornography with your brother.
And don't you be listening to that before the watershed.
Certainly not. Parental guidance required.
Good luck in the finals by Molly and Lewis. Come on, you Saints!
So, news today. The Scotland team for the Euros is out. And what did we expect? Exactly what had happened. Not a St Johnstone player anywhere near the squad.
Yeah, and look, it's covering all ground, really, but I was checking it on the BBC Sport website, and someone, obviously a Saints fan, had wrote in saying, why is there no talk of any St Johnstone players? Might not have been a Saints fan, but even the bloke at the BBC said, yeah, we're just giving up on that.
Yeah.
The blower in the feed. He said, but I think Jason Kerr can feel pretty hard done by, and Sean Rooney, sort of, because a lad who's played 12 games of professional football has got in ahead of him.
Patterson, yeah, he's a good player, a good prospect.
Yeah, he's a good player.
But I can understand why they're putting these players in to get them experience. But
it's a major tournament, the place to be just throwing people in.
No, it's not. Maybe they weren't too far away. Maybe Steve Clark contacted him. I think we're covering old ground. I think we've talked about this before. But we're here to bring the good times, Dan. That's what we're here to do. Let's not wallow in this. We'll support Scotland, but what we will do is slag off their merchandise. They're getting it tight today.
They are getting it so tight. Sam, have you got an intro for me?
Picture the scene, Dan. You've been sent for your messages for our English listeners or our Hong Kong listeners to shopping. I've got some eggs in my basket. That's all I've gone in for. But somehow I've managed to leave with a chainsaw, a dog bed shaped like the Greek island of Corfu, and a cardboard cutout of 90s kids TV host Toby Anstis.
That sounds like the middle aisle of Lidl.
It certainly is, my friend. None of the stuff in there would make the club shop of shame because it's all fucking tremendous.
It's all tremendous. Best pan I've ever owned I got from there.
Yeah, non-stick.
Oh, no, it's not non-stick, but it cleans really easily. £6. Bargain.
Can't beat that. But anyway, what have Scotland been doing other than being a bit dickish?
Other than sort of giving Grant Hanley a call up for a major international tournament, Scotland... Right, there's a whole general thing here. We need to start from the top. This is an unbelievable Club Shop of Shame special we've got on here. Now, a lot of you have been sending us in pictures of products by this brand, Foco.
Yes. What they do is they take... I think they go to football clubs and said, can you give us a license to make merchandise on your behalf? But what they specialise in is Hawaiian shirts and Hawaiian shorts with like the club crest running through it in the club colours. So you'll get a Livingston shirt, yellow and black with Livingston. Pretty horrific stuff, but if Saints had one, I'd be getting one for my holidays.
Yeah, almost unironically too.
A fashion icon, I ain't.
I'm bald now. I need to get into the bald man lifestyle. I need to
Right.
go around wearing Hawaiian shirts.
We've never even touched on this point. Should we bring it up now? We'll park Club Shop of Shame just for a few minutes. Now, we've discussed on this podcast a few times, and I think a few people had mentioned it with photos that your hair was going and you're holding on to it for dear life, and you finally shaved your head. And you know what? It looks absolutely bloody fantastic, Dan.
Well, thank you, Sam. A lot of people out there, not yourself included, who your hairline's near enough on your eyebrows. Yeah, a lot of them out there get follicle issues. I decided to sort of deny mine for years, lived in some hope that my hairline was magically going to regrow. Honestly, Matt, I must have used every product, every shampoo, expensive shampoos, expensive haircuts, just try to see whatever made any difference. And you know what? When I was down in Blackpool, I went to the Huntsman's Barbers. But I went in and, I decided it was time. And I don't know why no one bothered to mention it to me sooner. Because I should have done it years ago. If someone had said something, I would have done it.
Don't. It's a sticking point. We actually stopped getting to the point now where we just stopped mentioning it because you're not going to bite.
Did you?
We called you Bobby Charlton for 4 years.
Well, he scored a lot of goals, didn't he? I thought that's what you were referring to.
Oh, he likes Man United as well. Must be that. Must be. Yeah. But anyway, you look great. That's all I'll say.
Thanks, buddy. Helps having a beard. Then I can have a good upside down face. Anyway.
Although I could talk about you and your fantastic good looks all night, we are here to discuss the Club Shop of Shame Scotland edition.
Yes. So we've set the scene. We've got Foco who make these borderline bizarre, certainly horrendous Hawaiian shirts based around football clubs. It seems to just be Scottish football clubs as well. And in the words of Homer Simpson, there are only two types of men who can wear Hawaiian shirts. Gays and big fat party animals.
That is it. It really sets off a white pair of shorts though, Hawaiian shorts.
Nah.
Anyway, right. Scotland.
Club shopping. Foco. So this was brought to my attention. As I say, loads of people, and big thanks to everyone for sending us all the Foco stuff. My word. So what have we got on here? Pint pots, fair enough, mugs. A 2-pack, octagon and star, push its fidget. What the flying fuck is a push its fidget?
I don't know. Like a fidget spinner, one of them things.
Oh, it could be, Right. Anyway, so we got that.
But they've not been popular since people shouted, "Fuck him right in the pussy." Remember when that was a thing? They were popular around the same time. That was a great period in media. Just random Sky Sports presenters doing things outside the stadium. They just had random people in the background, "Fuck him right in the pussy." Brilliant. Anyway, sorry, Karen.
Remember when some Stoke... Oh, no, it was a Tottenham fan, wasn't it? He shoved a dildo in someone.
Yeah, that's when they stopped doing that feature.
Yeah, so that's when they stopped hanging about outside training grounds. So there's that. Yeah, so there's a gnome, and he's pushing a wheelbarrow. But actually, what it looks like is that this gnome's been caught in a compromising position with a wheelbarrow.
He looks like he's fucking a wheelbarrow. Let's not beat around the bush. That's what it looks
he's
like.
fucking a wheelbarrow. There's no two ways about it. It's just disturbing stuff.
Can I jump in here? I've just discovered the worst, most random item in the history of this feature. It ticks all the boxes for being shit, random, over the top expensive. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I think I do.
Is it that?
What you fuck?
I have got here the Scotland Ball topiary frame with leaves. What the fuck is that, you may ask? Excuse my language, I'm getting a bit excited. Enjoy some topiary of the line team spirit. Don't even know what that means. By adding the Scotland Ball topiary frame to your garden. So you've got one of these bushes outside your, do you know, like the balls you get, like the wee bushes outside the front garden. This is a metal frame to go round that. And there's a Scotland badge on it, and it looks like a football. I don't know why. I've never seen a normal one, let alone a football-based one. And it's £50.
50 quid? That is a box. That is the winner.
Do you think that's got to be up there with one of the worst things I have ever seen a football team? Who's passed that at Scotland to say, yeah, that'll fly out the door? 50 quid, bargain. They'll need one for either side of the door. 100 quid to put your bush in a frame. Right, Shelley?
You need length, you need width, and you need depth.
You do, Shelley, and apparently you also need a Scotland Ball topiary frame with leaves.
Who doesn't need that in their life? This has been a revelation. There's so much that we've not even covered. Scotland retro kit board shorts or swimming shorts to normal people. So a 96 away kit with like the purple and green.
They're actually okay as a standalone swimming short, but it's not as bad as the Scotland straw picnic blanket for £25.
25? Jeez Louise.
Or the Scotland garden spinner. Like one of them things like weird hippie people have outside their house. You know, the gold metal things that spin round. You usually get them in drug shops.
Yes.
Like the gold things that kind of spin round and they'll go all psychedelic. You can get a Scotland one of them. A Scotland garden spinner.
That is tat. That is absolute premier tat.
And we're not just being harsh on Scotland for not picking a Saints player in the team, but they have got the biggest selection of crap I have ever seen on one website. Their Christmas selection, still on the go.
Yeah, this was what. And Sam, litmus test here, full price.
No, not having it. A 5 bobble set, 15 quid. A Scotland long sleeve Christmas shirt, £45. Awful. And you've made your bed, Scotland, and you'll have to lie in it. But I'm sure they'll have a Hawaiian bed covers for you to fucking snooze in as well.
This is what you get for not picking Jason Kerr.
This is it. Anyway, we're here to bring the good times. We're not here to get ratty about I can't believe how shit that stuff is, though.
It's so bad.
Imagine if you wanted to get a topiary ball with leaves and a Christmas long sleeve shirt. 95 quid, not including delivery.
Why would you want those two things in one order?
Why would you want them ever?
It's a good point. It's a valid argument, Sam. And so we come to the end of our visit to Folco's quite frankly disturbing world of Scotland.
I don't think we've had as many items as that in one go. And I don't think we've had that many shit items in that go. But
no, exactly. It was, but they were all very sort of deserving of their place in the club shop of shame. But we want to know, have you seen anything else that you feel is deserving of a place in the club shop of shame?
I'll stop you there, Dan. I don't think I've given you the respect this little section needs. I want enthusiasm and vigour from you. So I'll tee you up. What else could they see, Dan?
Woo! Sam, I'll tell you what they can see. Now, you may be thinking we're coming to the end of the domestic season. We've got one massive game to go. Then we're going into internationals. And you might be thinking it's an international football summer. You know what? We're going to get into the swing of things. Or we're just going to a party. We're going to wear fancy dress. Don't even have to be a fancy dress party. You know, fucking go nuts. But you might be thinking, I'm going to do it football themed. International football themed. So you can picture it now. The Stars and Stripes suit. The top hat with the Stars and Stripes running around it. The white beard. I'm talking about your namesake, Sam. Your uncle, Sam.
I don't think that's how family members work.
No. Well, either way.
So you know my dad, uncle. Danny DeVito.
He's someone's uncle. He's called Sam. The uncle of a nation, and that nation, as emblazoned on the back of his suit, Vietnam. Why not have an Uncle Sam Vietnam suit?
This was a fucking hell of a long way for that. But we're going with it. We're going with it.
We're going with it. A fitting tribute for international unity. And that's what we want. It's an international summer. It's a summer of love. Vietnamese Uncle Sam. Get there.
I've got nothing else to say. Fuck. Jesus. Now...
I'm going to get taken off the air.
Now, I know you're a bit random, Dan, but I don't know where to draw the line with that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is try and do this better next time. I fucked it again. I can't. The ring pull came off the can. The ring pull came off my pudding can.
My pudding can. Take my pen, that bag of man. I swear it's Springfield's only choice.
Oh, dear. Right. Yeah, massive game of football. Fingers crossed. There was obviously a couple of COVID tests this week to make sure everybody's healthy and back to fitting. So nobody has a clue who's going to be there, who isn't going to be there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to have a full strength team.
Yeah, I think that's been the main worry. I was very pleased to see because obviously the other worry is they've not played since the outbreak. A lot of lads haven't played for a few weeks. You know, you wonder about match fitness and sharpness, but...
They've played 50 games this season since, September?
You know what? Some of them might have even needed a rest.
Yeah.
So, obviously not under these circumstances, but I was, there was a decent amount of players back against Livy last week.
Yeah.
Hopefully the other guys will, sort of return through this week and be sort of fit and firing for the final. So, yeah, that's the first concern. I think anything had gone down, we probably would have broke by now.
Yeah. Hopefully they nipped it in the bud, caught it, and everything's back to normal. Let's pick a team.
Pick a team, right. Xander is fit.
Let's skip through the niceties. It's going to be McCart, Gordon, and Kerr with Booth and Rooney on either wing.
Yep.
Then it's going to be McCann, Bryson, or Craig.
This is where it gets difficult for me because you got to pick. It's got to be what formation is he going to go with. Either way, someone who deserves to play is missing out.
I would go, excuse me, I would go with, this would be my team. It would be Clark, Booth, Rooney, McCart, Gordon, Kerr. Then it would be midfield 2 of Craig and McCann. Then I'd have Middleton, Spooney, and Kane up top. That'd be my pick.
I'm not too far away from you there. In fact, I think I'd probably go exactly the same, yeah. I'd go Clark, Rooney, Booth, the back three.
Yep.
He's so tempted to throw Murray Davidson in. He's so tempted to throw Murray. Not out of sentimentality. I just thought he looked good last week.
Yeah.
But I think, on balance, I'd go Craig and McCann. I'd also be tempted to throw Halloran in.
Yeah. It's tricky. Could end up being me and Melamed up top. Who knows?
It could be. I think he'd go one up top. It's one up top. I think on balance, Wotherspoon plays.
Yeah.
No question there. He either plays on the left or if he goes with a different formation, he drops into midfield or behind the centre forward.
And well done, Danny. That means he won't play because you've said he will.
Yeah. Sorry, Spoony, but you sort of deserve it for drinking oat hot chocolates.
Very true. But to be fair, the team, it doesn't matter what team's picked. Remember the League Cup final where Conway was playing, we're thinking, Jesus Christ, this would be a disaster. In the semi-final, I should say.
Yeah.
And everything, this is quite a risk, playing one up top with Conway. But I have faith in any team that goes out in that field, if they're all fit.
Any team that goes out in that field. Big selection decision. So you're going to have one of Kane and May. One of Kane or May. You could have both. But the likelihood is you're going to have one of them as your sort of workhorse up front.
Yeah.
I'd go Kane.
I would go Kane as well. Do you know what I'd like to see? Saints be 2 or 3 up and then he makes 5 changes at the end in one go. Davidson comes on, May comes on, Bryson comes on, Conway comes on, Parish comes on, captain's armband to him.
Parish, yeah. Get him on.
Aye, so
only really leaves 3 places up for grabs. But this is Callum Davidson. He'll get it right.
In Callum we trust, and that's
and
it.
Parish.
We're done. The end of our 2-part special.
Sam, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute privilege. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. A bit knackered, but I just want to say before we go, very quickly, I'll try and be as quick as I can, you know what I'm like. Obviously, it's been a difficult couple of weeks, really, with the whole farrago around tickets, and we'd all rather be there. You know, it looked like a few of us might get there, a few lucky ones. It was taken away again. Well, I just I say all the listeners, because you guys, we've said it a million times, you guys made this podcast. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you. So just really, really hope everyone has a fantastic day. It'll make the best of it. Hopefully now things have eased up a little bit, opened up a little bit. We'll be able to enjoy it a little bit more than the League Cup final. Enjoy, the whole day and can meet up with people. You can enjoy it with other people. Me and Sam, me and a few mates, we're having a little bit of a shindig. So just make the best of it. Make what you can of it. Have a fantastic day, as much as you can within the restrictions and the legal parameters. So,
all right, Mum.
Well, you gotta be you gotta be responsible. You gotta do something. You can't let this thing bite you on the arse.
I would just like to thank the Academy.
I was nearly getting that music that they played
to rush you off. That's what you should have, a button with the brass band starts to usher you off the stage. I would like to thank Liam from the Naman View podcast, Stephen Watt. I want to thank Craig Bryson, Gordon Smart, Stuart Cosgrove. I can't believe I'm thanking these people for speaking to all these guys since Sunday. Absolutely incredible. You, Dan, thank you very much. And of course, thanks to Flonix as well for supporting our podcast. Unbelievable how much they are actually able to assist us and help us get through this. Bucket, it's a cup final. Do the song, Dan.
Sam, I have a song, and I bet everyone thought I'd forgotten, but I've not. But before I do that, thanks to you, Sam. Thanks for this week, mate. It's been a real buzz, and hope everyone at home enjoys listening to these podcasts right up until the point of what's to come.
Indeed, yep. Hopefully this will be part of your cup final build-up somehow. We've put a load of hours into this, and it's certainly not for our benefit. It's for you guys, the fans like us. So enjoy these, enjoy the match, and take it away, Dan.
F-L-O-N-I-X. If you can't spell it, Guidi will instead. It's Flonix. They do IT solutions that I think are nice. So if your IT needs a mend, then Flonix are your friends, and they support the Doggers with pride. Come on, Saints!
Come on, Saints!
Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up.